Okay, just hold on Instagram. Hold on Instagram. Hold on Instagram. Just hold on 1 minute. We're coming. Amen. All right, hold on Instagram. Okay.
Welcome to the Real Radio Show, Real People, Real Talk, and Real Estate with Dr. Karen Lewis.
Ray, throw your hand up when it's time. All right, here we go. Good morning. Good morning. I am Dr. Karen. Thank you all for joining us on Real Radio. We are here every first and third Saturday at 10:30 a.m. We're talking about real estate, real people, and we have real talk. And with me today, my co-host Tamika Moses. Madam Tamika Moses is not here. She's probably still in Paris somewhere. I told her, just let me get in the suitcase with her. I cannot keep up with her. But that's okay. That's okay, because I got a great guest, and she definitely can fulfill the shoes. And I want you all to get your pen and paper out. We're going to have some fun. We're going to talk about mortgages. But before we jump right in, I had to even put some questions together because she's got so much information. But before we get the show on the road, I just want her to introduce herself, and we're going to dive right into the questions. Make sure you get your pen and paper out because it's time for home ownership. It's time for home ownership. You got to do it. And if you already have a house, you got to go to the second one. Then you got to go to the third one. You got to keep it moving. All right, so I'm going to let my guest jump in before I just start talking.
Hey, so good morning, beautiful people, on this beautiful Saturday morning. So my name is Dr. Toshia Renea Drummond, and I am an educator at heart. Right now, I fill the shoes of a mortgage broker. I wear so many hats. Let me just say that. I'm a bad lady. I'm just going to admit that. So I'm a mortgage broker. I'm a real estate broker, general contractor, and an educator. So what I do in the world of real estate is I make it a seamless transaction. Not because I'm trying to make all the money. It's because I want to educate and make sure that your transaction is one that you're going to want to repeat.
Wow.
We want to repeat it.
Wow.
We want this to be a repeat cycle.
Wow.
Not something that you do once and stop because of your experience.
Wow. I like that.
So we're all about that seamless transaction.
I like that.
I'm at Platinum Plus Realty and Investment Services and also Approved Mortgage Solutions.
Wow. She's got a lot going on. She's kind of like me, like you say, the bag lady, but we're not bag ladies. But actually, I am literally a bag lady. Okay, I carry a bunch of bags, if the truth be told. You know, my family's like, okay, let me get you this right here. Let me get you this briefcase. Let me get you that. But I still got the bags. But anyway, you do carry a lot of hats too, and I can relate to you, Dr. Toshia. And, I've talked to you, and I was talking to you about a client the other day. And when I was talking to you, I love when you were talking about that seamless transaction. And I kind of watch you even talk to the client on your process. And I admire that. And that was one of the reasons that I'm like, can you come on the show? Because when I see some lenders and the client don't know anything, it saddens me, because one of the things that happen is that real estate agents and even lenders, they tend to think that people know this. They tend to think that we do this day in and day out, so this is our language. So when you start talking about real estate and mortgages, they have no clue. And then on top of that, lenders, I'm going to call you out. That's just it. When you are this is what you do. You say, send me the link. There's nothing wrong with the link, but you have to educate the people and tell them exactly, okay, here's the link. This is what's going to happen. This is what you have to do. Okay, when you get to this part, if you don't know it, click 0 or whatever it is. They just say, here's the link. And this is not their language. And people, they get stuck with that.
And that is probably one of the biggest caveats with the mortgage process. It's not that people don't want to purchase. They just don't know where to begin. So I pride myself in communicating and building relationships. That's huge. So people often laugh at me because my clients, they start off as just clients or borrowers, but by the time they leave, they're my family, they're my friends. I have some clients that I've had for over 20 years.
Wow.
And we're still very, very close. We're family. So they've sent their kids, they've sent their aunts, their uncles, their whole families, because they know that I will communicate. Not only will I communicate and educate, I'm going to advocate. And as mortgage brokers, real estate professionals, guys, we have to educate ourselves so that we can advocate for our borrowers, our buyers, our homeowners, our home buyers. It's bigger. Right. The process does not stop after they close. It's beyond that.
That's when it starts, actually.
It actually starts there.
Right.
Exactly. So I pride myself on that. I really do. That open line of communication, that if you have an issue, even during the process, after the process, call me. Because I don't want you to get to a point where you lose your house because you just didn't know. That's why we're here.
You got to give out your information. Give it out.
Okay. So you can, my office number, and you guys can call. Please call me if you have any questions. If you want to discuss anything mortgage related, whether you are a first time home buyer, investor, if you're having issues with your mortgages, give me a call. 954-584-8700. On Facebook, I am Toshia Renea Drummond. My Toshia, people pronounce it Toshia because it's Toshia Renea, Renea Drummond. On Instagram, I'm Toshia Renea Drummond also. So on any of those avenues, any of those channels, you can definitely reach out to me.
All right. I like that. Okay. I'm Dr. Karen. You already know me, but my phone number, sometimes I get so caught up in it, I forget to give you my phone number. But if you've been listening, you should know my phone number by heart. But just in case you don't, 954-248-9149. And let me say that again, 954-248-9149. I want to put something out to you all. That's in case you all looking to buy or sell your home. We're definitely available to help you. Both of us are real estate brokers and mortgage loan officers. But I want to talk to you if you know any seniors, high school seniors or between the ages of 17 through 19. We are having a special for the school, Urban Real Estate School, and it is for live classes, $275. And we want our students to go to college, but everybody won't go to college. So if someone is looking for a career in real estate, such a rewarding career, 954-248-9149, a special discount, live classes to take the pre-license course to get your real estate license, and it's going on now. So pass the word, spread the word. Dr. Toshia, I want to ask you a question because, just from me talking to you in the last few weeks, it's that tell me and tell us, how can we leverage real estate? We hear the word a lot, generational wealth, building generational wealth. It sounds good, but how can we leverage it, and what is it that we can do? What are your thoughts on building generational wealth into, within our community?
I'm glad you asked me that because my husband was telling me just the other day, I always talk about building generational wealth. And he says, Toshia, people hear that. It's so cliche-ish. What does that really look like? So I had to really think you hear it, but how do you attain it?
Right.
So I'm going to use this example. I've had in the last probably year so many families that alone they could not afford to purchase a home.
Wow.
So I'm going to add another phrase to that. Multi-generational households. With multi-generational households, you can create generational wealth. Now, I know you guys are wondering, what in the world is she talking about?
We're waiting for the answer.
I had a client that came to me and said, Tasha, I want to buy a fourplex. So fourplexes right now in Broward County are running you almost $1 million in a nice area. Some of them are right around 800 or whatever, but they're expensive. So if you're working a job making $100,000, you can't afford to purchase a duplex right now. You just can't. If it's not structured correctly. So what we did for this young man is he's going to live in one unit. There are 3 other units. Now think about this multi-generational wealth and building wealth. He could put his cousin in one unit. He could put his mama in one unit. He could put a renter in one unit. And they all paid that mortgage while he is creating wealth. He's cutting down the mortgage. Everybody is, he's the homeowner. However, they're saving under the same umbrella. Same thing with houses. It's okay if you can't afford to buy a house on your own to move in with your mom and buy a house with your parent. Buy a house with your brother. Buy a house with your sister. Because what you guys are doing is, it's been done. It's been done in a lot of other cultures.
And they're still doing it.
And they're still doing it. And I don't want to pinpoint anybody. But we need to start thinking a little bit more strategic. Stop paying other people's rent. When you can come in the house, I don't mind you paying my rent because I am a landlord. However, I would prefer seeing you get in a large enough house that you can get together, pay that mortgage together, $400-500 each. Save money so that, guess what? That's one property. Next thing, buy another property. Do the same thing. Do the same thing. Reciprocate the process. You're building generational wealth. After 30 years, and some of you are not going to take 30 years to pay for that property, think about it now. And I can only use me as an example.
Right.
So when I started, I'm going to divert a little bit.
Go ahead.
I started with the school board. I was an educator for years. And I bought real estate when I was with them, 30 years ago, whatever. But when I decided to do real estate full time, all of them were saying to me, you're going to leave real estate? You're going to leave the school board and do real estate? Yeah. Well, what about your retirement? That's what everybody talks about. What about your retirement? What about your retirement? But guys, let me give you an example of generational wealth. I've done it. So I purchased my first home in Plantation for $150,000. It hasn't been 30 years. That property is worth $650,000, $700,000. I have other properties, same thing. Purchased it for $100,000. Now they're worth $500,000. Now let's liquidate. What does that look like? I'm a multimillionaire based on real estate. I'm providing housing.
Love it.
So guys, that's what it's all about. If you live within your means.
I love it.
Live within your means. I teach a lot and I educate probably more. I do a lot of mortgages, but I educate too. I educate first. Because the biggest thing is when people come to me and they say they want to be, I want to be an investor. I want to be an investor. I explain to them that there's a difference between an investor and a landlord. Investors make money. Landlords collect rent. Now, which one you want to be? You want to be an investor. So what they do is they buy their first homes. And I say, listen, in a year or two, if you're ready to move on, if you've saved, if you've gotten your finances where you need them to be, then we can move to the next property. I can't tell you how many of my clients are now investors and they own their second home. They know what to do. That's generational wealth. And then they're going to pass that down to all of their kids, their families, whoever they want to pass it down to. It's going to be wealth. That's how we build wealth.
Wow. Oh, wow. Oh, wow.
So-
You can tell when I like something because my mouth, I get quiet, right? And when I like it, I'm hoping that people who are listening to it like it, love it, and so they can start executing it. And I'm just, within the circle of the people sometimes that I talk to, is that they don't want to live with their family. I have a young lady right now that I mentor, and she's in a place for rent, and she really can't afford it, and she's paying $3,000 for rent, okay? But her family, they live maybe maybe I think Fort Myers, I'm not sure. But anyway, they have a house, beautiful home, and she could stay with them. They have nobody staying with them, and she could stay with them. And she does not want to stay with them and can't afford it, and pays $3,000 per month for rent and won't move with them. It doesn't make sense. And that's the part of building generational wealth. Go back there and live as long as you can. Oh Lord, Mom, I wish my mom stays with my sister though, but if she had a big old house,
I know, right?
me and my husband probably would be over there.
Look, we talk about my parents. I always say, shoot, let's go under one umbrella.
Right.
I mean,
that's
I'm
the
with
key.
them. Yes.
That's the key right there, is that we have to get beyond, we don't want to stay with someone for whatever that reason is. And most times it's probably just selfishness, or people don't put the dish where they think they should or something. Little small things, and just do it for the short haul. I have a client that also wanted to move, but the wife does not want to move, wanted to downsize for maybe about 2 years, but because the wife is used to a certain lifestyle, she doesn't want to move to be able to make that sacrifice for 2 years. For 2 years. So I love that. I love the difference between the investor and the landlord. But most of us are going to be paying something per month, whether it's a rent or whether it is a mortgage. You're going to be paying something, and you want to figure out what it is that you want to do. But always try to think of something from a long-term standpoint,
Right.
I love
it's
that.
not for everybody. It's not for everybody, and we don't want to.
That's right.
We're not forcing you to do anything. We're just educating you. We want you to be aware of your options. That's
Right,
all.
right. And I like that you said it's not for everybody. And so, people say, home ownership, sometimes you can rent and still own whatever it is.
Absolutely.
Because one size does not fit all. You may want to rent and not be able, not be concerned with responsibilities for yourself and own whatever it is. Or you might just say, I'm going to rent forever, whatever it is. Again, one size does not fit all. But if you want to utilize and leverage, real estate is definitely a great opportunity that you can do. You talked about being an educator, and you already set for your retirement, probably had you stayed in there, but that's a whole nother topic. I won't go in there today. But
Look, the show's not long enough for that.
Anyway, so let me go on to my next question. Man, I had a list of questions for you because I was excited. All right, so let's go back to this right here. What's the biggest mistake that clients make? Let me read my question. What's the biggest mistake people make that gets them denied for a mortgage? Oh man, think about that one.
Ooh, okay.
I can repeat that question again. You got it?
Okay,
you got it. All right. Okay.
So when you work with me and my team and I should say, at Approved Mortgage Solution, we normally, and I don't want this to sound cocky, but denial is not in our vocabulary. Because what we do is we get you ready before the process starts. That's number one. So when you walk into our office or you make that initial call and you express an interest in being a homeowner, there's a process. So for people who are denied, you didn't follow the process. So the first thing that you want to do, the first thing that we do is we check your credit. We make sure that you're credit worthy. And if you're not credit worthy, we get you credit worthy, because that's one of the biggest pitfalls. People are not educated and they don't know, hey, listen, you can't go buy a car if you're buying a home. You can't go open up new credit cards, because what that's doing is that's adding to your debt, which will push your DTI over the allowed amount from the lender or from government or industry guidelines. So I find that when people are denied, it's because they've done something reckless. I hate to say it, but I'm going to be a straight shooter. They've gone when they came to their lender, or they came to the whoever the lender institution is. Their credit looks one way, but I don't know why they don't think that they're going to check that you just bought a new car. They have a way. So after we pull your initial credit, don't do anything else. Leave it alone unless we tell you pay down your debt or do different things. Don't go buy a new car.
Wow.
Don't co-sign for anybody. Please don't do that. Get yourselves ready. Now that's a big reason. Another thing that I find that we have to educate, because I've heard the stories. I haven't experienced it, because I make sure that I give them all of the criteria, I educate them on what you can and cannot do, so that we don't get to that level where you're going to be denied. Do not quit your job. Now, changing jobs, I don't like it. But as long as, if you change a job in the same line of work, it's acceptable. So I do have people that say, I can't stay on this job right now, but I'm going to just, especially nurses, CNAs or whatever, they'll call and say, hey, I'm moving to a different hospital. Okay, that's acceptable. But when we have people who just recklessly stop working in the middle of the process, you don't think that the lender's going to call a day before closing to check on your employment?
Even after they've checked initially, they'll do it.
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
the day before, 2 days before closing, they're going to call the employee on record that we put on your 1003, which is the loan application, and they're going to say, are they still working there? They don't ask for income. They just want to know that you still work there. They're going to verify the dates that you said that you worked there. Day or two before closing.
Oh, wow.
If you left your job thinking that they already did it, automatic denial.
Wow.
And those are two things that I've been hearing in the industry. Thank God I haven't had those instances, but I've been hearing that people are actually doing things like that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So that's good. This is good. Wow. You know, this is the word that I keep hearing it. And maybe because you were an educator and you know how important it is. I keep hearing you say, educate. It's not that you force people to do something, but our job is to educate, and let them know and explain the process. And so many times, and I'm telling you that I don't see this going on. I don't see it going on. So I like that. Can you give us something about, this is something, do you all do this here, the DSCR loan? Or DSCR loan?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, just tell us a little about, let me see what somebody say. Now, I don't have my glasses on, so if I don't see y'all, it's okay. Somebody put this in bold. Do not co-sign on car and don't leave your job. Yes, absolutely. And they put it in bold. So that means something, you know?
I know that's right.
And one of the things, too, be mindful. Listen to your lender on what they tell you. Don't do nothing. Just call them if you want to breathe hard. If you want to put an extra $1 in your bank account.
Absolutely.
Call the lender. Call your lender. Call Dr. Toshia. Call and just ask the question before you do anything. You know, don't do nothing, because it could very well just destroy the deal because you don't know. So I agree. I like that. That's good. Okay, so you ready to answer my question? I asked you about the
DSCR.
Okay.
Yes. Okay. So the DSCR loan. You know, this is going so fast. I know it sounds like we're all over the place.
But it's okay. It's all right.
So the DSCR loan is a loan, debt service ratio loan, which it's really for investors.
Okay.
And what they do is they qualify you based on the rent of the property that you're purchasing. You cannot you can't use a DSCR loan product for your primary. It's only for investors. So what they do again is they look at the rents in the area, and it's not what you state. They're going to it has to be documented what the rents for the area are. And if it covers your rent, your insurance, if your rent covers your mortgage payment, which is usually your principal, interest, taxes, and insurance, they'll lend based on that. You don't have to use your own income. You only use the rental income to qualify. Now, one of the bigger things a lot of people call me about the DSCR loan, you have to put money down. This is not a 5% loan. This is not a 10% loan. Sometimes you have to put 15% down, but they only use the rent to qualify you. So it's an excellent loan. Excellent. Especially here in South Florida with the rents being higher, but then the properties are higher too. But yeah, the DSCR loan is really good, and it's an investor's loan.
Good. You got to give out your number again, or yours where they can contact you. Yes. Absolutely, because it's almost time for us to end the show
already.
Yes.
Boy, time flies when you're having fun.
Yes. Oh, you giving out great information.
Again, it's Toshia Renea Drummond. My number is 954-584-8700. 954-584-8700.
So I want to ask you, I know his hands will be up in a minute though, but let me just ask you, if just real quick, if somebody wants to purchase, and because you play the roles just like me, MLO and real estate agent, broker, that if they're scared, they want to, but they're scared, they say, oh, my credit may not work, oh, my income may not work, or whatever, that one thing that they could say. What is it that you can just tell them right now?
Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. Get with the lender who you can build a relationship with, who has the time to educate. I know it's time consuming, but I actually take the time to educate because I want to see you fulfill that dream of home ownership.
Love it. Oh, wow.
We walked in today and said how tired we were. We're tired because not only are we educating, not only are we doing our job, we also become mentors, we also become counselors, we become advocates, we just do a lot. But we're here. So if you're afraid to start the process, guys, we have the patience. My team and I, we have the patience to help you get through that. We start from the beginning, credit. We start at credit, and then we work it. It's credit to closing. That's what we do. So if you're ready to do it, come on, give us a call.
I love it. And don't forget that word. She said seamless. I like that. Seamless. So, I say it too because I've been on the other side. And what I'll share to you is that just go for it. Go for it and go through the process. And I'll say this in closing. See, a lot of times when we go through the process, because it's not a smooth selling, then we tend to think that's not of God, or we tend to think that's not for us. But sometimes you will get the humps and bumps, but if you can trust the people that you work with, just trust their guidance, trust their expertise, and they'll get you to the finish line. Okay, I am Dr. Karen Lewis. I am the host on the Real on Real Radio. I miss my co-host, but I know she'll be back on the next show. Join us every first and third Saturday, 954-248-9149. With that, make it a great day. And I am signing off. And thank you, Dr. Tasha. I enjoyed you. And we must do it again. I'm signing off.